Hey, Hickok 45 here. What are you looking at? Ooh, some nice guns, huh? We're going to do a comparison between the LC9 Ruger and the PM9 Kahr, primarily. We thought we'd start out, though, by giving you a little perspective on the family, at least a part of the family here, the LCP 380, and how it looks compared with the LC9 9mm, and the PM9 9mm, and its little bitty brother, the P380, in 380, of course. Imagine that. It's called the P380 for some reason. So there you see the family of four, at least of these particular guns, and man, are they popular. Wow. If you have a carry permit, which millions of you do, you're familiar with these guns. This video might be a little bit like, at least when we start out here, like the Glock Fab 4, you know, where I took the four, what I consider four of the most popular Glocks. These were possibly, quite possibly, four of the most popular desired carry guns in this genre, at least. Okay, so we want to give you a look at the little brothers while we kick this off. And they are small, aren't they? That little P380. You've hopefully seen my videos with that gun. That's a sweet one. Wow. And then the LCP. So, and we'll be doing more with those probably. Okay, but we have some footage with those. If you're new to the channel, you should have seen those already. You have homework to do if you have not. So what we're going to focus on primarily, though, are the bigger brothers, and that is PM9. These are 9mm. They shoot the 9mm round, so that gives you a little more punch. Now these are hand loads in the Kahr, and 147 grain hollow point, but they're hand loads. I've told that story in another video how I ended up with hollow points. And then these are Winchester white box 115 grain in the Ruger. All right. So I've had a lot of requests. I can't tell you how much. I had a number of requests to compare the LC9 with the PF9 Kel-Tec, you know, and so I went ahead and kind of jumped in and did that not long after I got my hands on the LC9. And I've had as many, or probably many more, requests to compare this gun with the PM9. People are constantly asking me to do video comparing them, and also just my opinion, because they know I have both. They know I've had the PM9 for a while, I guess a year or so. And so they know I have some definite opinions on it, and I've given those, you know, in messages to folks. So I thought I'd just get everybody covered today and let you know what I think about these two guns. I think they're both garbage. No, just kidding. No, they're both really nice guns, and so I'm going to try to, I don't know, compare and contrast a little bit. I really like both of them. Okay, that's the bottom line. I do like them both. I've not been a big, what you call, there's something about Ruger. There are people who live and breathe Ruger. They collect Rugers. I don't know what it is. It's like something genetic. They just, maybe I'm that way with Glocks or something, but people are that way, whether it's their revolvers or their automatics. The old P85 that came out, which is was a bit of a clunker. We bought my dad one of those for Father's Day one year, about 86, I guess, or 85, and he just had to have one. I didn't like it that much. Yeah, so I've always had kind of a bittersweet taste in terms of Ruger, and but boy, they have some neat models, and I've kind of over the years evolved to where I'm more of a Ruger fan, I think, because they do have some really nice guns, no doubt about it. And I guess I had a little bit of a mental block even on this one, because the LCP is a really nice gun, but it's so small, it's pretty difficult for me to shoot. But I tell you what, this gun, when I got this and held it and then shot it a few times, I tell you what, it feels really, really good to me. And I'm hard to please when it comes to a small gun. And I've given you that speech before. The smaller the gun, the higher the bar, the more demanding I am, and I think most people are, in terms of the features and the trigger and the grip and just everything, shootability, because it's harder to make a small gun shootable, let's face it, or easy to shoot, because they're just by nature more difficult to shoot well. So, you know, unless you have a hand about 1/3 the size of mine, and so let's move on. Okay, so these two guns, the Ruger LC9 and the PM9, we're going to compare and contrast a little bit. And I thought we might just start out by taking a couple shots with one of them. Let's shoot the old PM9. Haven't shot that in a video for a while, I don't think. Now you have to lock the slide back generally and then release it. Okay, that's one of the a little quirky about the PM9, and the P380 is kind of that way too. You can't just like a Glock or have it and just rack around in. At least mine's not broken in enough to do that yet. You've got to lock it back and then release the slide lock, and it does fine. So let's see how this feels. Feels good. Not bad. 6 for 6, I think so, yeah. For a little bitty gun like that with a double action only trigger. Well, I say double action only, it's striker fire, but it's like kind of a weird hybrid combination of a striker fire double action trigger. I don't know how to describe it. I like it. Okay, now let's try the Ruger. Now this one, you don't have that characteristic. You can just rack the slide like you do any other gun. Okay, that wasn't too impressive, was it? Let's start over. Okay, you know, it's funny, the difference in the trigger, this one breaks further back, as I've talked about. So let's act like that didn't happen. All right. Go. That's a little better. Okay. This trigger breaks further back against the frame, which is something I tend not to like because it's double action. You know, I went over that, and I think in one of the videos it breaks way back there. And with my long hand, that's you know, big hand, that's a bit of an issue for me. But it's not too bad. I could get used to it. It's just as different from the PM9. You might actually like it better. You know, most people have I almost said something really brilliant. Most people have an average size hand. You know, that's probably true, isn't it? I have a large hand, long fingers, and so you know, it just feels like it breaks pretty far back for me. For you, it might be perfect, and so I won't count that as a negative. It's only a negative for me, and it causes me to want to pull it down a little bit, particularly if I'm shooting two different guns and one of them breaks at a different point. So that's always a disadvantage. Let me try it again here. Wow. Well, I got the feel of it. Okay. And if I loaded up another magazine, it'd feel even better to me. This is one of the disadvantages of shooting a lot of different guns, and maybe 4 or 5 or 6 different guns on the same day. Okay, it's already beginning to feel better. I just have to adjust for it, program my brain and my trigger finger to break, you know, where that trigger breaks. Okay, so all right, they both shoot. You can tell. Let's both clear. Let's talk about some of the similarities and differences now between these two. Size is always an issue, isn't it? Well, in general, let's just cover the basics first. This is a Desantis pocket holster for the label is. Has a label said? Yeah, it's on the inside. Okay, there you go. Let's give them a little press there. Desantis gun hide. All right, slips in there, and you know, that's how they work. They go in the pocket, and then when you pull it out, you've seen me do this before. The holster hangs, boom, ready to go. The holster's supposed to stay in your pocket. That's how those work. Now, you folks in foreign countries, you know, where carry is not an option, you know, like United Kingdom or Australia or Canada or California, Massachusetts or somewhere, you know, that I know that's kind of a strange thing, but in states and free states and United States where you can carry legally, this is very, very, very common for millions of people. Okay, so don't be alarmed. Don't be alarmed. And notice this one fits pretty much the same holster. That tells you something right there, doesn't it? Okay, they fit the same holster. Now this one protrudes a little bit more, and I don't know if I went and said, hey, I need a Desantis for the Ruger LC9, there might be one that's tad larger or a different design a little bit. It's probably the same one. Okay, so put it in there and we fall off the side one. It strikes me as a little bit bigger, but it's not really much. It fits just about the same way. So, boom. Okay, so either one would work as a pocket gun, and that's what a lot of people are buying these for, the PM9 and that. And then also a lot of people are buying them as a belt holster gun. So it just depends on what you're looking for. Now this is not a holster for one. This is a big Glock holster here, but you know, some people carry these guns on their belt, or this gun. You know, same thing. It's a belt gun. So either one. So these guns, this class of guns, has some versatility there, depending on how you want to carry it and how you need to carry it. So they both would work as a pocket gun. That's the bottom line. They both fit the same holster. All right. As far as capacity, I'm talking flush fit magazines. The PM9 holds 6 rounds. Okay. Flush fit on the Ruger holds 7. You can see it there on the magazine, and that's the difference there. Okay, so you got one more round capacity with the Ruger if you're talking flush magazine. Now then, you, at least with the PM9, you have other magazine options. This is like a 7-round magazine that comes, I believe that one came with it. And then of course you can use the, gosh, what are they called? The PM, whatever, the P9 or whatever, the bigger Kahr. I've never had those before, but you can buy any of the 9mm Kahr magazines will fit in this, kind of like Glock. Now, I have one of those. It's about that long. I think it holds 8 or 9 rounds. So those are options, and I don't know if that will be available for the LC9 or not, so I can't really speak to that. Okay, you do have the finger hook there, you know, on one of the magazines I have for the LC9. I think that was the magazine, the extra one that they sent me. And so you do have that if you need a little bit more meat to get a hold of there. It's pretty good, feels good. Particularly if you're going to carry it on your belt, you know, maybe. That one would be a little big for the pocket, I think. But give you a little more to get a hold of there, you know. Feels good. Boom. Okay, that's a good feeling gun. If that trigger broke about that much further forward, it might replace my PM9. I mean, really. Because it does feel good, and it's a great size. Okay, so capacity there, we talked about the magazines, and we'll shoot them a little bit more, but let's look at the size a little bit closer. We're not going to get too nerdy here, but this is, I know what you want to know, because this does make a difference in a pocket gun or a carry gun. Let's get this thing set for the thickness of the Kahr. I'm measuring the part that would go into the holster here. Okay. I used to just measure the slide, but I'm kind of getting where I just measure the part up there, the thickest part. All right, so let's see how that compares with the old LC9. Well, the LC9's thinner, isn't it? Okay, and the part that matters. There you go. So you got a thinner slide and frame configuration up there towards the front, the part that would be punched into the holster. All right, let me make sure I didn't move it now. Yep, see? So you got a little difference in thickness. The slide alone, the Kahr strikes me as a little bit thicker. No, actually it's not, is it? Huh. The slide alone, it's about the same. Yeah, about the same on this actual slide, but the frame pooches out kind of like a Glock. Makes that a little bit thicker, okay, but not a lot of difference. You notice they both fit into the Desantis just fine. Okay, let's get that flush mag back in the LC9, and let's stand them up here and look at get a closer comparison on the sizes. And we got a different configuration, different kind of, I don't know where how to line it up exactly, but so the Ruger's a little bit, grip's a little bit longer, you know, hence the extra round. So you got a little bit longer grip. Benefit is you have one more round, okay, and a flush magazine. And notice the length on them there. I think I've got them lined up pretty well on the back, the rear. Yeah, I think so. The LC9 is a little bit longer. So it's a little bit bigger gun. Not thicker, just a little bit longer in the grip and in the barrel or slide. Okay? Again, that could be a negative, could be a positive. Gives you a little bit more to get a hold of and a little bit more sight radius. The beauty of the PM9 is doesn't seem to need that. Just the way it's made, it fits. I mean, obviously it's a 2-finger gun, but it feels really good just the way it is. Okay, so that kind of gives you an idea of the size. You got essentially the same sights on both of them. Well, actually, you don't have any dots on the PM9, do you? But you got 3-dot system on the Ruger. Let's quit talking about them and shoot them a little bit more. All right, let's go down to the shooting range. Oh, look what I see. Woo. All right, LC9. And of course, as you know, that's what they're for. Close work, right there, kind of in your face. Let's try it with the PM9 now. In the holster, trigger guard covered. Yeah, these things are for close work, of course. Well, I guess all handguns are basically. I tend to make buffalo hunters out of them, don't I? So PM9 and LC9, they're pretty sweet. The couple of differences I didn't talk about are the safety issues. You notice a reminder differences. The PM9 is pretty much like a Glock. You just pull and shoot. And so is the LC9, but you have the option of using the trigger. Not trigger, what am I talking about? I'm fumbling for a magazine here and lost my train of thought there. Oh, it's in the gun. Let me pull it out here. I was going to reload it. The thumb safety is what I'm trying to say. There's a thumb safety there on of course, the LC9 that you can use. It's your option. And then you have that very distinctive loaded chamber indicator and that kind of thing. So those are some differences too that some people find offensive. I don't know. And then another big difference is this gun is striker fired. And that might be one reason I probably shoot it a little bit better, because I like striker fired firearms. And then this one is just hammer fired. Notice the hammer. Also it has the magazine disconnect. It will not do anything if you don't have a magazine in it. See the hammer back there. Okay, so that's another big difference. All right, and that's one reason it breaks back here. Like the H&K that I've reviewed recently. You know, I talked about that extensively about the trigger break being back there pretty far. So let's wrap up with the Ruger. Shoot it some more. Now let's try the gong. What the heck? Well, that was not so good. Let me load one more magazine. You know what I was doing? I was jerking it and holding it down because you know, same old thing, that issue with the trigger. You know, if I get my finger on the trigger the right way, I won't necessarily waste ammo after it's gone again. But if I get my finger on the trigger the right way, I can hit the old gong with it. I think you've seen me do that. That just proves the gun, you know, is fairly accurate. It will shoot at long range. It's kind of goofy, I guess, shooting at the gong 80 yards with it anyway. But it will hit it. I would like to hit it one more time. I considered a challenge. Okay, get your mind right, Kahr. There we go. That's what they're for, though. Right there is a close up. LC9 and the PM9. Okay, right now I have to give my preference to the PM9 slightly, mainly because of the trigger. What you were just saying, I struggle a little bit with it, and part of that is going back and forth. If I just put the PM9 away for 6 months and I just shot this, you'd see a big difference. But going back and forth, it exaggerates that for me, of course, in my large hands. So it's a challenge. Some of you probably with average size hands wonder, how can I shoot a gun that little, perhaps? Well, you know, I've got large hands, so it really does take focus and concentration to shoot little guns like this. But I like them, and generally can shoot them okay. But that's what you're seeing. I just shoot striker fired pistols better than hammer fired pistols. It's just a fact because of where they break further back, and then have to kind of get back here a little too far. But other than that, I really like this gun. I really do. So if you don't have NBA size hands, I tell you, it would be a tough choice. I can't think of a lot of reasons where I would just favor one of these guns over the other in a major way. I really can't. Okay, if you have hands as big as mine, I would say I would lean toward that gun. That's more expensive, but I would lean towards the PM9. If you have average size hands and you don't mind the hammer fired gun and where that trigger breaks, then you might do just as well. Save yourself a couple $100 and look seriously at the LC9. Okay, that's kind of where I come down on it, and hope this helped you a little bit at least. So hope you enjoyed that and learned a little bit. Life is good.